What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the live stream. All right, fellas, I got to settle in for a moment. It's something about these live streams. Every time I get into them, to get that wave of anxiety. So I got to settle into it. But if you see the title, man, you know I'm talking about being a father, being an overwhelmed father at that, too. And I want to give you some context. It's going to be kind of a deep one here because it is coming from a personal place. If you've seen some of my content, some of my videos already, where I do talk about some of the challenges that I deal with as far as, being a dad, the struggles that I'm going through. You know, if you've already seen that content, then you kind of know where I'm coming from, or you have an idea of what this may be about. But I really want to just hop on here, man, do this in real time, because I know a lot of us brothers out here, man, we deal with what feels like a war. You know what I mean? Like, whether it's with the mother of our children, you know, whether we're dealing with courts, therapists, it feels like, it may feel like we always having to prove ourselves as men and prove ourselves as fathers. And that can be super draining, bro. And this is kind of what I deal with. You know, I hate to say on a regular basis, but it does pop up at times. So I just wanted to use this outlet, man, and use this platform to be able to kind of shine a light, man, just to put some awareness out there and to help other brothers, man, just realize like how important it is to really take care of yourself. Because when you're in these types of dynamics, man, you know, when you're trying to fight for your kids, when you're trying to show up for them, it can get dark. And I know it can. And I know I'm not the only one who deals with this. So that's why I really wanted to hop on here, man, and I got some talking points, and I'm not going to take up too much of your time, but I wanted to hop on here and just kind of highlight the importance, man, of taking care of yourself, brother. You know what I mean? Because when you're fighting for your kids, bro, it can feel like just a never-ending battle out here. And if you're in the dynamic or something similar to what I'm in right now, man, where it's like I have to show up every other week. You know, I go to reunification therapy with my middle child. And so what I'm saying is I deal with therapists, bro. Like you don't ever want to get to the level that I'm at. You don't want to be in the court system. You don't want to have other people dictating. I appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you hopping in here, man. You don't want to get to a point where you have, and let me know what the sound is like too, bro. I got this mic and I just want to make sure that you can hear me all right, bro. You don't ever want to get to a point where you have other people dictating to you how you need to show up, who you need to be, what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong. That shit in of itself, bro, can be, appreciate it, bro. That shit in of itself, man, can be fucking heavy, bro. Especially if you a dude like me, where you really don't like people telling you what to do. You really don't like being told, you know, like I'm open to feedback. I can take constructive criticism. It's something I had to really work on, you know, but when it comes to my kids and when it comes to your kids, you don't really want somebody telling you what to do, when to do, how to do it. And it takes a like a real high level of like acceptance, man. And what I mean by this acceptance is accepting the situation that you may be in. That shit is hard to do, bro. You know, accepting and taking accountability for your part in the dance. That's what I've had to learn to do too, is take accountability for my part in the dance. You know, dealing with court systems, dealing with therapists, they didn't get me in the situation. And I've had to really look at it from this angle too, right? They didn't put me here, you know, and they've been asked to kind of come and clean up shit. So sometimes I feel like the anger and shit can be misdirected at them. They're just trying to do a job. They got families they trying to take care of as well, et cetera, et cetera. We all understand it, right? But sometimes, bro, it can get to a point where it's like you just don't feel supported. You don't feel like someone has your back, like they're really hearing you. That's where the shit can get super stressful, right? And man, it can really mess up like your I'm not gonna try and get all super sciencey in this live, bro. You know what I mean? If y'all watch my videos, you know I try and keep it real. I try and just kind of speak in a way where you can really understand me and really connect with me. But like your nervous system, bro, You know, like when somebody say something to you and that shit activates you and you pissed off and it's like you feel misunderstood and stuff like that. That's what can happen when you get into these types of layers of this type of shit. Okay, so it's not trying to blame somebody. It's not trying to blame a therapist or blame a professional. They're, like I said, they're trying to do a job, man. So it's trying to learn how to like work with them, how to accept the dynamic that you're in, take accountability for your actions, take accountability for how you got to where you are. And that's what a man does, man. You know, and it's also being aware when you realize that like something may not be working. Like I said, I go to therapy and stuff with my kid, and it might get to a point where it's like, this shit may not be effective, man. And that's a whole nother like way of looking at things. And you have to kind of really understand yourself on a deep level and know when to pull the plug on things. All right. But I do have some talking points in here, man. And like I said, it's like one of them real personal type of streams, bro. But when you're dealing with, whether it's the mother of your children or you're dealing with courts, therapists, what I've learned, man, is that it's really key to not respond right away. Whether it's a text message, an email, anything, bro. Like, you got to take some time, dude. That's what I make this mistake a lot too. Like, I get like a text message from like a therapist or something, and I can feel that shit trigger me, and I'm like, what am I trying to say? It's like almost like an impulsive type of thing where you want to respond right away. And that's like one of the biggest mistakes you can make. You know what I'm saying? You gotta like take time. And I always talk about this in my videos too. Being able to pause, being able to slow down a bit, man, because you'll get yourself into trouble, man, if you just responding and you ain't really calmed yourself down. I always like to use that analogy from the Snickers commercial. You know, you're not yourself when you're hungry, and you are not yourself when you were triggered. And even using the word triggered, I thought about this before I hopped on this live too, man, because the word triggered to me is like, it's almost like too sciencey. What I mean is more of like when you get in your feelings. You know, I think that's more of a relatable way to talk about it. When you get when somebody say something to you and you can, you know, you're in your feelings about it. You know, it's important to become aware of that. You know, when you get activated, bro, when somebody says something to you and you're like, fuck, man, you just don't get it. And that can lead you to wanting to like over explain yourself, you know? Yes, bro. So many people lose themselves by crashing out. That's why I'm fucking on here, bro. Like, that's what this is about, man. It's about trying to prevent that. Because like I said, when you're dealing with your kids, man, your kids are so close to you, bro. It's like a piece of you, and you don't want anybody fucking with that. And when it feels like too many people have their hands in the cookie jar and they have almost like control over you and your relationship with your kids, bro, that shit can lead to dark days. So that's why I'm making this, man, is to try to really like shine that light on the importance of being able to like take care of your mental, man. And one of those first key points, like I said, is to not respond right away. You got to give yourself some time to chill out, man, because whether the mother of your kids is saying something to you, or maybe like y'all going back and forth over some visitation stuff, or it could be anything, man. It could be school shit. It could be simple stuff. The battle starts up here, bro. The battle starts in your mind. And what I mean is, when she says something, it's like about the story that you're telling yourself about that. Like, here she go again. She don't get it, making things difficult. And that can lead to us just, you know, bro, it can escalate. You know what I mean? It can escalate internally too. And it's very important of being aware of that internal escalation, bro. When you feel yourself getting activated, when you feel yourself being like, fuck, man, it almost feels like you kind of lose control of yourself. Like homie said, man, like people, you know, crashing out and stuff like that. That's how it starts. It starts with the story you tell yourself, the story that you got going on in your head about whatever somebody said to you. And that shit just kind of, it takes a life of its own. So it's really important about putting awareness on this, being mindful and understanding what the hell is even going on. And for you to be able to understand that, you have to really kind of understand your internal operating system. That's what I always like to talk about, man. I always use that type of language, bro. We all got our own internal operating system. And when we don't understand that, it's like other people have control over that. They have control over our operating system. So you want to do your best to maintain self-control, maintain self-mastery, bro. So it's really important. Like I said, I keep going back to it, man. Don't respond right away. You're not obligated to respond to something right away. You can take all the time you need. You might need to take a whole day, a couple days. And in taking that time, that's going to allow you to be able to calm the hell down, man, so that when you finally do respond, you're coming from a place of like making sense. You're coming from a place of logic now. You're not coming from a place of being in your feelings. And that is so key, man. A lot of us get wrapped up in our feelings and our emotions, and we don't even realize that it's happening because it happens so fast. The shit just takes over you. All right. Hey, fellas, I know I only got a couple of heads in here right now, man. If y'all can do me a favor, if you're getting any value out of what I'm saying already, man, if y'all can hit that like button for me, man, I really appreciate it. It helps the reach of this live stream reach other brothers that need to hear this message too, bro. But for the second point here, man, I'm kind of already touching on it, bro, but it's being aware of your mental, okay? And being aware of when you're triggered or being activated. It's so important to be aware of this, you know, and I've been preaching since day one on my channel about self-awareness, man. That shit is a cheat code. A lot of us are going through life and we lack awareness. And to take it a little bit deeper, when I say we lack awareness, we don't really see ourselves. We don't really see how we show up when we get pissed off. We just are kind of on autopilot. We are just reacting so fast, so swiftly, so impulsively. We don't even fucking, like, that shit just pour out of you, bro. Somebody says something to you, that shit just pour out of you. You don't even take the time to, like, go for a walk, bro. Distance yourself. Put your damn phone down and start rereading the text message over and over and over again. Your ass is activated, bro. And the more that we can become clear on when we are activated, the more power we give ourselves, man. This shit is so important, bro. But yes, being aware of your mental, it's one of the greatest gifts that you will give yourself, man. So you really want to start working on your self-awareness. And I talk about it in a lot of my videos, man. One of the main ways I was able to improve my self-awareness is meditating, man. And I know when you hear meditating, you're probably going to think, oh, here he goes, sitting with his legs crossed, with his hands like this, humming or whatever he's doing. That's not even really what it is, bro. It's really just sitting in stillness, man. No distractions, bro. No phone. It's just you and your thoughts. And the longer that you sit with your thoughts, man, your mind is going to do this weird shit where it starts to slow down. And when you practice this, because everything is about working a muscle, right? Everything in life. I talk about body game, working out, all that type of shit. And it all boils down to working a muscle over and over and over again. That's what happens when you sit and you meditate, or you sit in stillness, or you pray, whatever you want to call it. When you are by yourself with your thoughts. And a lot of us run from our thoughts. A lot of us are scared of our thoughts. We can't handle that shit. But the longer you sit with it, your mind is going to start to slow down. Why is this even important? Because when you're out here in the real world, when you're in conversations, when you're in conflict, it's going to translate to where you can slow down a bit, bro. You're not going to be so impulsive in the moment. It's because you're like getting the reps in when you're meditating. That's what meditation is. It's like you're getting these mental and emotional reps in, like in the gym, bro. So that when you get into the game, you're already ready for it. You're built for it. You may not get it right every single time. You may slip and fall. You may fuck up. You may say something that you didn't mean. That still may happen too. We're all human beings. We fuck up. But the more you can practice this, man, and really meditate and start slowing your mind down a bit, bro, it's going to translate into real life action, man. I promise you. But like I said, a lot of us run from it because we think it's like, it's too hippie, it's too woo-woo, whatever. You can think whatever you want to think about it. I'm here to tell you that shit works, bro. And that is going to help you become more aware of your mental. It's going to strengthen your ability to be able to say, I choose to respond to that. I know that I don't even have to say shit to that. A lot of us feel like we got to respond to everything. That's how I used to be. You get a text message from your ex, you get an email, a therapist saying something to you, anybody out here in the world, you get cut off in traffic, you automatically feel like you got to respond to the shit, but you don't. And that's what that meditating will do. It's going to allow you to realize that you got a choice, bro. You can choose how you want to show up. That's where I used to fuck up. I didn't even know I had a choice. My ass was just on autopilot, automatic. You said something to me that's I feel disrespected. I need to address this right now in the moment. But you really don't. The third kind of talking point that I have, man, this is a powerful one too, bro. If you kind of going through what I'm going through, and if you deal with this shit, is be mindful of who you're laying with. All right. That's a big one here, man. You know, a lot of us, depending on where you are on your journey, where you are in your life, man, it's almost like we don't value ourselves enough to the point where we will lay down with anybody just to get laid. When you doing that, you know, let me give you a little bit of my story too, man. Like, I got 3 children, right? And my 2 oldest, I got this rocky relationship with. And it's, when I look back on it, it's because of where I was when I had these kids and who I had these kids with. I used to be a functioning alcoholic too. So I used to have a lot of alcohol playing into my decision making. You know, I had a lot of shit that I had to grow out of, you know, and when you deal with these types of things, when you struggle with addiction and when you struggle with always trying to like chase fun, you don't really know yourself and you fall victim to like distractions and shit like that, you find yourself in some shit and you'll find yourself with women that may not be good for you, but you're so clouded and you're so wrapped up in yourself and you're so wrapped up in trying to chase the fun. And like I said, when you don't have a purpose, that shit'll get you fucked up, you know, because like I said, you're just trying to pop one off, man. And if you know what, if you follow me, you know what I'm saying. You're just trying to get it in, just trying to have a good time. Look, we all human beings, man. We're all built for connection, you know. And I say that to say that there's nothing wrong with connecting with a woman, but you got to get to a point where you know who the fuck you connecting with. Excuse my language, man. I don't even really be like dropping F-bombs like that so much in my videos, but what I'm saying is like, you got to get to a place where you understand yourself, you know yourself, so that you know who you laying down with. And that takes time to even discover who that person is. But when you're driven by lust, when you're driven by just a desire that I need to get satisfied, that's going to put you in a place where you might mess around and end up having some kids with somebody you ain't got no business having kids with. Now, that's not to say that those kids are not a blessing. That's not to say that those kids are not going to teach you things about yourself. That's where I'm at. My kids teach me things about myself every day. They teach me about patience, bro. That's one of the biggest ones, being patient, not only with them, but being patient with myself, learning how to like address them in ways, in healthier ways that maybe I didn't experience when I was growing up. Kids will teach you about yourself, man. So true. My brother got a baby mama at 20 because of that. Yeah, bro. That's what I'm saying. And it usually happens like at the younger age, man. That's why I'm putting this video out here too, man. Hopefully this can touch somebody in a way when they're younger. I'm 41 years old now, still going through the shits. And I will continue to be challenged. That's what life is about. We always going to continue to be challenged. But the more we can understand ourselves, the more we can understand that internal operating system, the better we can set ourselves up for success. Because we always going to have some challenges, bro. Life is always going to be throwing you a fucking curveball. You might see a fine ass chick and be like, damn, she is bad. But what's her intentions? You know what I'm saying? Is she good for me? And that's going to take you knowing yourself. That's going to take you not being driven by your lust and just wanting to pop off. And that takes work, man. That takes growth to be able to get to that place. That shit don't just happen overnight. But like my man just said in the comment, man, like his cousin, you know, had a kid at 20. Like I was like, just to get back to that, bro. Yeah, it usually happens when we at that younger age, when we're like super impressionable still. You know, I used to think when I was 20 that I knew it all. Bro, don't know shit at no 20 years old, man. You still young as fuck. You don't know anything. And you're out here chasing. You're out here you chasing, you know, attractive women. Like I said, if you don't have a purpose, if you're not in somebody's school, if you ain't in no vocational school, if you ain't trying to work on yourself, you out here, you're gonna be distracted, man. That's where I was, man. Smoking weed every day, experimenting, drinking heavily, just trying to have a good time, man. And then by the time I was 26, that's when I had my oldest daughter, you know, and I was in no place to be having kids. So also I want you to understand this live is not about bitching and moaning and complaining. This is about real life shit that we all deal with. It's about trying to just help other dudes, like, just be mindful, man. That's why the channel is Mindful Gains. It's about making gains in your life, but doing it mindfully, doing it with awareness. That's what I'm big on. That's what I'm going to preach. You got to be more aware. You got to improve your self-awareness so you know who the hell you land with. He was hanging with the wrong friends, chasing pleasure, drugs. Something about this live, man. I don't know if it's because I do it on my phone, but it's like when you put a comment up, it starts to fade out and I can't read the whole thing. That shit is super annoying. All messages are visible. Live chat, all messages are visible. There we go. Shit. That was easy. Let me see if I can do that again. I'm trying to read what you just said, bro. He was hanging with the wrong friends, chasing pleasure, drugs, lust. I wanted him, but ego was in the way. Yes, sir. The ego, man. And that's a whole nother, I could probably do a whole nother live on ego too, man. Ego is, it just gets in the way and it will run your life if you're unaware of it, which most of us are. Most of us have no idea what it even is, how powerful it is, and how it will direct your life, bro. That's what used to happen to me too, man. Like not to get like super deep. I feel like I'm already super deep in this shit, but ego, bro. It'll drive the car if you let it. And like I said, until you understand yourself, it will run your life. So you have to kind of like get out of your own way, man. That's what I had to do, bro. And even when you do get out of your own way, you will still be challenged. And just know that the obstacles, the hurdles that we deal with as men, they will always be there. They will always keep coming. But not to get too off track about what I'm talking about. You know, this live was for dads, or not even dads specifically, but somebody who just wants to hear the message, man. Like my guy in here who's kind of hanging out with me. Bro, it's about cultivating your peace. Okay? And hopefully those bullet points that I'm talking about, man, will help you to cultivate your peace, because if you can't do that, you will be pulled into the drama over and over and over again. So it's really important to like take care of your mental. That shit is so important, man. And I know a lot of us, we don't like therapy. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be talking to somebody about your personal shit. It feels like they might be too in your business or whatever. We all have our hangups. But me, man, I'm an advocate of it, bro. Like therapy is something that's helpful, man. Or even having a solid friend, even just having somebody that you could, somebody that you trust, that you can bounce things off of. It might be an older family member. It might be somebody that you've known for years that knows you. You got to be able to kind of get things out. You got to find those outlets where you can release this pent up kind of like energy, bro. Whether it's like journaling, like I said, therapy. And this is going to help you to strengthen your mental, but also like take care of your mental. Because like I said, it can get dark. You know, the journey that I've been on, dealing with like the situation with my kids, the therapy, feeling like I'm being rejected as a dad, that shit can hit you hard, bro. And then especially when you're trying to do your best to show up in your kids' lives and still feel like you're being rejected, that shit can be like a Mack truck hitting your ass. And a lot of men and a lot of people can crumble because it can get so unbearable. And they can just be like, man, I'm out. I'm not even dealing with this no more. You know? This connects to me a lot. My late father who passed away. Man, I got to keep pulling up the comments, bruh. My late father is similar to what you described. This is like watching a different outcome. Listen, I'm going to read that one more time, bruh. Appreciate you commenting too, man, and kind of kicking it here. It's connecting me a lot. My late father who passed away was similar to what you described. This is like watching a different outcome. Yeah, bro. I appreciate you sharing that too, man. Yeah, bro. Like, it's crazy. Like, a lot of us are not really prepped and prepared for what fatherhood is really like. Like I said, I'm 41, so I was born in the 80s, grew up in the 90s. I grew up in a different era. Like, now in 2025, parenting is different. You know, there's a lot more sensitivity and stuff like that. And I'm not saying it's necessarily bad or whatever. You know, we all got our opinions about that. But especially being in this like therapy stuff that I have to go through, there's a lot of things that I get told and I get talked about. And but I'm gonna wrap this into what you're saying about your late father, man. Like, I don't know your age, and you know, sorry to hear that you lost your father too, because that's tough too. You know, when you lose a pivotal piece in your life like that, you know, because fathers are supposed to be here to, you know, to guide us, provide wisdom. And when you lose that, man, I can only imagine what that's like. You know, that's a whole nother level. But yeah, man, a lot of us don't get the blueprint and how we're supposed to show up. You know, we're out here learning on the fly, man. We're trying to figure it out. 20 now, that was 4 years ago. Yeah, bro. I hope you are able to heal, bro. And like I said, I don't know the dynamic of that relationship. If it was a strong one, maybe you could even tell me if you had a strong relationship with your pops or not. But yeah, that's tough, bro. That's tough. It's tough to lose a close one regardless, but especially lose a dad or a mom. I haven't experienced that. You know, my time will come. But again, bro, I know it's not easy to deal with that. But yeah, to get back to like kind of like what this is about, man. It's like I said, we don't get the blueprint, man. We out here trying to figure it out. And like I said, kids will teach you about yourself. They will teach you like, damn, that's something I need to work on. That's something that I need to clean up. You know, I've had to learn about like my tone with my kids. You know, I grew up in an era where my folks, they told your ass what to do. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't no back talking, wasn't none of that shit. You know, now we in this kind of new generation where it's about autonomy and it's about letting kids do what they, you know, let them develop their own identity. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't, but when it's something unfamiliar to me or to people from my era, it's a whole new learning curve. It's a whole new way of like operating that we have to learn as men. And when you get into like dynamics that I'm in right now, where you got therapists kind of looking over your shoulder and keeping you under a microscope, and you got court systems involved, it takes it to a whole nother level, which is ultimately why I'm saying it's very important to take care of your mental, because when you got other people involved in your life, that shit can be hella stressful. So it's important to take care of your mental. It's important to do things that are bringing you joy in your life, that are bringing you happiness in your life, to counteract the darkness that you may be dealing with, if that makes sense. I hope it does make sense. You know, you got to still, like, for example, this YouTube channel, bro. This shit brings me so much joy. It brings me so much happiness because it provides me purpose in my life. It provides me an opportunity to be able to get on a live stream and talk about things like I'm talking about right now, and to share what I like to look at is like wisdom, to share nuggets of wisdom and things that I've been through to somebody else who may be a few steps behind me trying to figure this shit out. You know, so that brings me joy. That's a passion of mine. It brings me happiness. And then on the flip side, I may be dealing with some other tough, challenging things with my kids, or have therapists in my life and stuff like that. And it's all like a balancing act, man. And there's other ways that you need to take care of yourself too. I didn't write them all down, but I talk about them in my videos too, man. Like making sure you working out, man. Making sure that you are taking care of your physical vessel too. This part is very important. The mental game is very important, but getting in the gym, man, lifting weights, working out, that's very important too, man. your spiritual game, whatever you might believe in, man, or you know, if you believe in God, if you call it the universe, whatever you refer to it as. These are like pillars, man, to be able to take care of yourself so that when life gets tough, you can still handle the shit. Because we always gonna be dealing with some type of like adversity in life, man. I can't stress it enough. It's gonna always come. It's always gonna be there, bro. But the one thing that is never gonna change is you. Maybe I should reword that. Not the one thing that's never gonna change, because you should change. The one constant is you. Let me see what my man say here. Oh shit. Hold up, bro. I'm trying to read your comment, bro. It's different on this mobile shit. Let me see here. To be honest, while there was a lot of shouting and a whole other mistakes as a child in that situation, what you want to know, why can't I read it? But this shit is lame that I can't. What you want now is just to have him. Now I look forward to build a legacy and continue this bloodline. That's what's up, bro. I feel that, man. It's almost like, I hear what you're saying. It sounds like you're saying, like, although some of the behavior wasn't like maybe in the healthiest way, now you look at it like, damn, it would just be nice just to have him here. Like, fuck what the behavior was, just to have his presence here, if that makes sense, bro. Hopefully I'm hearing you right, man. Yeah, that's powerful stuff, man. You got any kids yet? Or you still kidless? I'm curious, man. How many you got, bro? Exactly. Yeah, so just making sure just want to make sure I heard you right, man. But yeah, I hear you talking about the legacy, man, and kind of just keeping it going, right? That's what we all trying to do, man. That's what I'm trying to do too, bro. Like, we're trying to keep it going in like a healthy way. That means I have to make sure that I'm healthy. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why the title of this stream was, man, you know, your peace is your power. Oh, I got you. I got okay, yeah, you ain't got no kids yet. Bro, you need to keep it that way as long as you can too, man. For real, bro. And I might have misread your message earlier. It sounds like you said that you're 20. I think earlier you was talking about your cousin. Yeah, you young, bro. You a young cat, man. That's what's up, bro. You just getting going out here, bro. Waiting for the right baby mama. I feel you, bro. But when you find the right one, man, you don't want to make her a baby mama. You want to do your best to kind of keep her in your life if she's solid. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was trying to say earlier, man. We got to be mindful of who we laying down with, bro. And I feel like when we younger, yeah, that makes sense. You and your cousin the same age. That makes a lot of sense. But that's what I'm saying. You got to be mindful of who you laying down with, man. And I've learned that even now, bro, as a 41-year-old man, still having to be mindful of like who I engage with, man. That's why I'm so big on like energy, bro, and who you give your energy to, and be mindful of what their energy is like and what these interactions are like, man. Because not everybody is good for you. You know, there's a lot of people that will take your energy, and that's why it's important for us as men to really understand ourselves, man, so that we can be aware of what we're giving off, what we're receiving, who we're receiving into our lives. Because like I said, man, you don't want to be laying down with somebody and now you strapped to them for life. You feel me? Like I said, don't get me wrong. Kids are a beautiful thing. And you'll see the beauty in your child and realize I still got this to deal with. I still got the mama to deal with. And that's why I can't stress it enough, man. It's so important to take care of your mental, improve your self-awareness, man. All right. But yeah, man, I just wanted to hop on here and, you know, get some things off my chest. I hope that this message can reach a lot more brothers out there. And bro, just take care of yourself, man. Protect your peace. Do things that bring you value in your life. Do things that bring you joy. As my man said here. Yeah, I feel you. Interaction is an energy exchange. Bro, it's crazy on this mobile. Chaos will disrupt your order. You need to be. It's hella annoying trying to read this. Energy changes, energy chaos will disrupt your order. You need to be infatigable with yourself. What you mean by infatigable? When I think of infatigable, I think of like not letting yourself get tired, like fatigue. But yes, chaos will disrupt your order, bro. And for you to be speaking this way at 20 years old, bro, is very that's very powerful, bro. I was definitely not on that frequency when I was 20. But so yeah, bro, be proud of yourself too, man, that you seem to be wise at your age too, bro. And yeah, be proud of yourself, man. And I hope that you take that and you just continue to grow. You continue to evolve as a young man as well, bro. Because that's impressive, dude. That you got. It sounds like you have a very good head on your shoulders, man. And just keep going, bro. But yeah, man, I just wanted to hop on here real quick. I don't want to take up too much time. I've already taken 35 minutes of your day. But yeah, man, I think that's all I got, bro. I think that I hit everything I need to hit. Protect your peace, man. Take care of yourselves. My younger brother that spent some time with me, man, I appreciate you, bro. All right, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, all right? I'm out.